No, no, no more hats. But we are live.
Oh,
Real
cool.
Gamer was asking me about no more hats. I have a big story, and anybody who watches my live streams, y'all know the story with the hats. I'm getting old. My hair was basically falling out due to stress from my corporate jobs that I had. And after I quit, and after I decided to take a real effort at lowering my blood pressure, being less stressed, and using some products, my hair started growing back. So
Oh, okay, that's cool.
no hat.
Yeah,
Because
I heard that like when you wear hats too much, it kind of mess up your growth in your hairline. That's what I heard.
yeah, I've heard that as well. Definitely hairline. I know for sure, depending on like how tight you wear the hat, because my hairline it just receded for no reason. So that yeah, I think so. But otherwise, yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's actually like clinically or anything, but yeah, I'm definitely not going to be wearing hats because like the stuff that I put in my head for like my hair, like I don't want it to be absorbed by the hat, so I can't wear. Yeah, so I can't wear hats anyway. But anyway, we're live here. What's up, everyone? We're gonna have a discussion with RealGamer27 just to clear the air. There's been a lot of discussion back and forth between us. Shots thrown here, shots thrown back, back and forth.
In the air, cleared it.
Yeah, so we're here to basically clear it up. We're here to clear that up. This is not going to be. Some people were thinking, oh, like make sure you have a moderator for like a debate or anything. I'm like, look, I'm not going to be yelling. I'm going to let him speak.
I'm
not going to. Yeah, none of that's going to happen. It's going to be like my last debate that I had with Furious Rants. I don't know if you guys saw that one or not, but it was very respectful. We didn't have a moderator. Sometimes some people said that we went in circles a little bit, but overall it was a pretty it was normal debate. Nobody really got mad or anything, and we still talk to each other on Twitter as well. So there's no issue there. So the first thing that I'm going to start off with, I want to ask you, how's your day going so far, man?
It's all right. Just came home from work not too long ago. So I got to wake up at 2:30 every morning, get off at noon. So I'm tired. So I have no energy to yell, man. So,
all right. No problem there, man. Yeah, I was in the same boat, as far as like, working that much. It's just I might still work a lot. I mean, I do my own businesses with YouTube and also my own personal training, but at the same time, I set my own schedule. So I'm able to get enough sleep when I can and all that. So hopefully things get better for you. You don't have to wake up so early to go maybe in the future.
It's all
Yeah, man, but I wanted to start off with, because basically kind of where this started from was, I think it was a podcast that you had. I think it was like 2 months ago, or I think it was back in June. And the thing that I took issue with is that you called me a sellout. And
I knew you made that up.
yeah, well, because like that's the thing. Everyone's been asking me. I mean, you don't know how many people hit me up about that, just to let you know. I got blown up by so many people about that. And are you going to respond and all this stuff like that? So I want to know why am I a sellout, and what did I do to become a sellout from where I've been previously?
Okay, let's just make this clear. Like when I say sellout, I ain't talking about Uncle Tom, just in case some of y'all are black in the comments. I'm just saying. I'm not calling him Uncle Ruckus. I'm just no. I'm just saying. I guess the reason why I said that because I mean, I've been watching you ever since I've been on YouTube past 4 years, whatever. And, I feel that your stance on Nintendo, I guess with the Wii U on how it basically fell apart. And I felt that you was really giving some really great constructive criticism with the Wii U. And, I guess some stuff that you said back then, I kind of felt that you changed the narrative with the success of the Nintendo Switch. That's why I said that you was a sellout. That's basically that's just basically why I said that.
Okay. Yeah, well, the thing about it is that the Wii U old platform, right? Like we evaluated it pretty much. It was old by the time that I was saying all those things. I gave Nintendo plenty of time to fix whatever issues that they had. And I think everyone did, where we said, hey, okay, well, Nintendo, you're going to have some updates. You're going to do some things. We all gave them time. Some people didn't. Some people came out and just slaughtered them. And I was like, hey, let's wait and see. The system can be updated. And I waited and I waited and I waited. Not only that, but I also waited for RPGs. We waited forever for 2-3 years for Xenoblade Chronicles. We waited for the other games. So therefore, since we waited so long, since Nintendo never fixed the issues with the Wii U, therefore my narrative changed because Nintendo never fixed the issues that the system had. I'm willing to give any system opportunities to change, whether it's Microsoft, whether it's Sony systems, anybody. Just give them time to fix things. And I did that with Wii U, and they never fixed anything. So therefore, I changed because they didn't fix what they said that they were going to do. Now with the Nintendo Switch, I've said multiple times, like, hey, they need to do this and this and this, but the system's new. They're still saying that, hey, we're charging for free online. We're going to do things differently, you know, right now until 2018. So when 2018 comes around, I want to see those changes. I want to see them implement those things. But until then, I'm going to give them time, just like I give any platform, whether it's Sony or whether it's Microsoft. I gave Microsoft and Sony time to get games, to get more games, because a lot of the games at the beginning of their systems were just ports. There wasn't really much content. But I was like, that's okay. I'll give them time. I bought it, and I was like, I'll wait. I'll just wait for them to get whatever whatever it is, and they got that. Sony, I bought PS3, I bought PS2. Sony with the PS3, like their structure of their system was horrible, you know, and we all gave them time. I gave Sony time then, so if Nintendo doesn't fix everything, then you will see my narrative change. If it's 2-3 years from now and things still aren't fixed, we still can't do a normal message, the voice chat still isn't working like it supposed to work, then you'll definitely see a narrative change, which I've already said multiple times that Nintendo needs to fix certain things here and there. But I'm just not going to go crazy about it. I'm not going to rant about it. I'm not going to clickbait about it. I think with the Wii U, I think I clickbaited a little bit too much or more, so people saw, that more. Whereas with the Nintendo Switch, I just casually put it in there so people don't see it. So I have people on Twitter saying, "Oh, well, you never say anything bad about the Switch," and then I point them to a video, and they're like, "Oh," and then they never message me again, And I'm
I never said that you didn't get the Switch, some constructive criticism. It's just like, just a few things that we, have to agree to disagree with what's that you said, like, I guess wait and see kind of approach when it comes to some of these third parties and all that. And some people said that Nintendo needs to invest in some third parties. And you got some people saying that, no, just wait, let the install base grows. And I'm kind of in between, in the middle, and just looking at what happened with the Wii U situation. Like third parties, they don't want to take no chance on the Wii U, on the Twitch right now because of what happened with the Wii U. It was a disaster. So why should they, put their brand new games on the Switch, an unproven console that just came out, and and it's still. I guess you could say it's underpowered according to them, even though it used the current new generation engines. Like Capcom said, they can run the Resident Evil 7 engine on the Switch, so it's capable enough to run these new games. It's just right now, it's just they making excuses because they just not confident enough that these games will sell. And just by looking at the whole Capcom situation, I don't know if you want to talk about that right now because I'm kind of
we'll get into it
with that.
We'll get into it. We'll get into it.
Yeah, like it's like I love the Switch. Don't get me wrong, man. I love the Switch. Like this was a great idea with Nintendo, but sometimes Nintendo they just do boneheaded stuff like the friend codes. Why is that bad? Why we still can't message our friends? The console been out for about 4 months now, something like that. Like just little issues like that. It's just kind of annoying, and that's why people said Nintendo never learns. Like this has been standard for over 10 years. Like with the voice chat and all that. The Xbox got this. They got this down. Was it 2001? Whatever the Xbox came out, and the first original Xbox online has always been better than Nintendo's online. Even the original Xbox.
They've always charged for online, and Microsoft is also a company that is very well versed in operating systems, very well versed in online, very well. They're PC. You know what I'm saying? So comparing Xbox Live to comparing that to Nintendo, which is a video game company. That's like comparing Jordan to me in basketball, to be honest. Like,
I know about that. We can talk about Sony. Look at their online situation. Like they charging the same price as Xbox Live with no explanation of the price hike. Like they just said we're going to charge extra $10 because we want to, because we're number one. We're Sony. We always win. That's just basically what they said.
Well, yeah. I mean, and that's the thing. You're going to have to, unfortunately for Nintendo, really not investing into online or doing a better job of it has really costed them right now at this point, because they literally had to tear the whole thing down and rebuild it from scratch. This is literally a brand new It's new servers. This is a brand new system. They have a brand new company working for them. And there was no way they're going to be able, I mean, we all wanted them to get everything in there, but there was no way they're going to be able to get everything in there. So that's why I'm saying, okay, well, hey, they had it at 2017 for the launch of the system for its paid online. Then they delayed that to 2018. So to me, when you say that you're going to delay it, that means you got to add stuff. That means you need more time to make it better quality if you're going to charge for it. So I'm willing to just play my games and wait for them to do that, just like I wait for lots of stuff from some of these companies. Now, I don't mind if people want to be vocal about it. That's cool. You can be vocal all you want to, but every single company has certain things, you know, that aren't good or that they need to change. And Nintendo, you know, from the longest time, we've all given our feedback as far as what Nintendo needs to do and all that. But to get back to your original point, as far as, you know, me and my stance on it, it's the same as I've, you know, for the most part that I've always been with the systems. Just let them do their thing, see what happens. Or sorry, your original point with the third parties. I agreed. I think we had somewhat of a similar point when it comes to that. Yeah, I agree that the third parties are obviously, they were a little bit scared based on what Nintendo, what happened with the Wii U. But at the same time, like I've even said, I can confirm that this was also somewhat of a plan as well. No company releases 11 first-party games in 1 year. That's unheard of, even for Nintendo. 11 first-party games in 1 year. That is absolutely insane. That shows that Nintendo knows, and third-party developers know, that Nintendo is trying to drive the install base. Otherwise, they would never release that many third-party games in 1 year. That's just something you don't do. You know,
it's pretty obvious because they basically making up for what they did with the Wii U. They was lacking a lot of games. You know, first, second, and third party, whatever. And like with first party, it takes like about 5 to 6 months per game that we get from Nintendo. Sometimes more than that. And you already know about the whole entire third party situation. Like with the first year, it was pretty cool, but after that, it was bad, man. And I guess with the Switch situation, yeah, it's like if you just love nothing but Nintendo games, then you're gonna love the Switch, because the Switch has a ton of Nintendo games the first year. But if you look at the third party stance, like you could say that this is the worst first year ever when it comes to third parties with Nintendo as far as new games. Like we're getting a bunch of ports. Like there's a lot of ports coming to this system, because you got Resident Evil Revelations 1 and 2. Of course, you got the Street Fighter, with Ultra Street Fighter 2 that just released a couple months ago, done extremely well. You know, you got, you know, Skyrims and all that, like, and Raven Legends. Like, it's a lot of ports, man. It's more ports than new games, and that's my issue. Like, I don't have an issue with ports remaster. I said this a long time ago. If there is more ports or remasters more than new games, then I would have an issue. Just like I had an issue with Sony, had an issue with Microsoft the first couple of years when they was on the market. They had so many remasters. I did not like that. I didn't like it at all. That's why it took me a while to buy a PlayStation 4, because they had too many remasters. Like a lot of games that I played on my 360, I was like, you know, I didn't already play this, so why do I want to play this game again? That's why I waited to get a PS4. And of course, I got an Xbox One because I'm a huge fan of Xbox. But as soon as I got my PS4, I love it, man. That's a lot of games to play this year. I didn't have a PS3 last generation, so Uncharted was new to me. The Last of Us was new to me. God of War was new to me. So I played all these games. I love it. So I'm playing all these first-party games on top of all these games that just came out this year. Like, Sony got a down pack when it comes to games in general. When it comes to diversifying your audience, they got games for everybody, whatever kind of game, whatever kind of genre you can think of, from RPG, JRPG, sports, racing, hack and slash, fighting games, everything. They have it all.
But so it did take them some time to build that library, though. You know,
no, you're right about that. It did take them some time, you know. But when it comes to Sony, they don't have that issue with third parties, because they're going to get their games regardless, because Sony always wins. So,
well, yeah, I mean, Sony does Sony wins a lot. I mean, but
Sony always wins.
From a Nintendo perspective, you know, from some of the stuff that I've been listening to, some of the people that I've been talking to, Nintendo is obviously in the most unique position out of the big three, right? They actually have first-party games that are better than the third-party games. You know, whereas Sony, maybe you can say Sony's first-party games are better, but the sales don't equate to that. Yes, Uncharted's great, but it's going to get destroyed by Call of Duty every single year. You know what I'm saying? Call of Duty's still going to sell more. Grand Theft Auto is still going to sell more. FIFA's still going to sell more than all of Sony's first-party games. People are raving about, like, Horizon Zero Dawn, right? That's going to get absolutely crushed by Call of Duty this year. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's the difference between Nintendo and the other Nintendo and Microsoft and Sony. They just don't get those type of sales, whether it's due to the effort of the third-party developers or not. It doesn't really matter. It's just not the same because Nintendo creates that type of content. So this generation, which I've been trying to say from the very beginning, this generation, you're going to see Nintendo as far as putting out first-party games to make sure that there's no droughts. But then you're also going to see the developers, what they want to see, what third-party developers want to see, is they want to see a bigger install base so more people potentially can buy their game. That's what a lot of third-party developers want. They're not going to invest a ton of money and a ton of time into a system that's unproven because they didn't know if the game, they didn't know how the Switch is going to sell.
We actually agreed to that.
We agree.
I think the part that we disagree is in, Nintendo funds some of the games, not all. Like when I say publish some games, some people think I'm talking about all of them. I'm talking about the games that really sells, the popular games like Madden's and Call of Duties and Assassin's Creed, like the Battlefields, like these mainstream games that majority of hardcore gamers love. Like just imagine.
Is it possible?
Well, is it possible for them to fund it?
Like them to completely fund and develop a game that's okay. Like what I'm saying is, like, is it possible for them to completely fund and develop an x86 game that be ready in the first, not even the first year of the Nintendo Switch, the first few months, and have Assassin's Creed, a game that's been in development for 3 years, dev kit's been out for about a 2016, not even a full year. We're going on a year of maybe developers even having dev kits. So is it possible for them to completely fund and get a quality version in time for launch, completely fund it, completely publish? I just don't see how it's possible for them. Maybe if they got dev kits out.
Yeah, it depends on dev kits.
Yeah, if they got dev kits out like 2015, 2014, like if people knew about the system beforehand, then I'd say, yeah, definitely. Then it would have been, but that's just not how it shook down. Nintendo didn't, according to Nintendo, they didn't want their ideas with the Switch being stolen like they were with the Wii U, because the Wii U had dev kits earlier, although developers still complained it was still wasn't enough time. So that's the thing that I don't see how Nintendo would have been able to. What Nintendo did is that Nintendo is publishing Skyrim. Apparently, Bethesda could have got that done in time, but they still had to add. It still took time to do that port. They're still adding stuff in. Nintendo's also publishing. I mean, it's Hyrule Warriors, but Nintendo's funding and publishing Hyrule Warriors, and they're funding and publishing Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle. They're publishing all the games that they think would sell, that would be able to be ported or made quicker than a Call of Duty or like an Assassin's Creed or those type of games. Because if you look at the last generation, the power gap was definitely much. Well, the Wii U was more powerful than all the systems that were currently out. Whereas the Nintendo Switch, not the case. So I think it also makes things harder for these developers. Now, if Nintendo had an x86 system that's as powerful as PS4 and everything was pretty much the same, I think you would have seen, and Nintendo got dev kits out at a reasonable amount of time, I think you would have seen more. But it's the fact that
it was actually selective with the dev kits. I forgot who it was. It was somebody that was complaining about Nintendo was being selective. They didn't get their dev kits like later on. So not all of them got it earlier. And whenever the NX got announced, I believe it was 2015 when it first got announced, the NX. So it was already in development about 2 years before it announced. I mean, before it released, about 2 years, something like that. So yes, it takes about 2 to 3 years to do Assassin's Creed and Call of Duty. The deal with that is like I'm not asking for that game to release this year. I just want to know, like, is it going to come to the Switch? And whenever E3 came and went, like the games that they announced that's coming out next year, there was no Switch. Like, what's going on? Like, if these games coming out in 2018, possibly 2019, kind of like Anthem, that looks like a 2019 game. I don't think that's coming out next year. That game, like, it's far, and I'm I'm pretty sure EA got these dev kits a long time ago. So I think, well, we already know how EA is. They gonna take that wait and see approach with Nintendo because
absolutely,
we know how EA is. So ain't no point in me explaining how they just evil. I
wouldn't go that far.
But like it's just with the Switch situation, they are in a unique position because they are selling so well that like Nintendo can't even keep up with the demand, and you know, people, they just they want a lot more than what the Switch offers right now, because you know, it's the hot item. Everybody's talking about it. It's all over TV. Nintendo is advertising everywhere. You see it at the movie theater, see it on billboards. You know, kids at school talking about it. My kids continuously keep begging me to play the game every day. I don't even have time to play my game. They play my game. You know, they are in that kind of unique position that a lot of people is expecting a lot more from Nintendo of what the Switch offers right now. That's just basically what it is. But I get, just with me, like, I just want just simple standard features we've been asking for. You know, we still ain't got the.
I think everyone agrees with that. Yeah,
the voice chat thing is still not here. The friend codes is bad. Like, come on, man. That is like 10, 15 years ago. Like, come on, man.
Well, it doesn't quite operate. I mean, I see what you're saying with the friend codes with 10, 15 years ago. It doesn't quite operate like that at all. To be honest, it's pretty much like an Xbox 360 tag, because as soon as you type in the code, it's linked to a profile. Whereas with the Wii, the friend codes wasn't really linked to a profile. Yeah, it's actually very different. And once they update it, they already said that Nintendo Network IDs are going to be in there. So it's very different from what an actual like friend codes is. Just know that there's a difference between them, because it's linked to a profile. Whereas with the Wii, with real friend, what people are saying, oh, friend codes, Wii wasn't like that. Wii, like, you actually typed in the own name yourself. So you typed in your own name, and it was just based on the system. There was no profile linked to it at all. Didn't have it to it online. So it was a very different thing. And like the Wii U had Nintendo Network ID, but like I said, they pretty much tore down the whole thing. They tore down Miiverse. Miiverse isn't coming back. They tore down everything that they did beforehand, and then now they're completely starting anew. And maybe if they didn't launch it, maybe if they launched the system next year, maybe it would have had every single thing already in there. But to me, I'm like, well, if we can play Zelda in 2017 and we can just get whatever these things are later, the people who want those things can just wait. Whereas the people who want to play Zelda, who want to worry about the most important thing, which is the games, those people can just buy the system now. Like, nobody is forcing anyone to buy a Switch. You know what I'm saying? So that's the thing that I don't understand with people who are upset or complaining about features. Like, oh, well, why didn't this feature come there? This one, they shouldn't have done this. Well, just don't buy the system. Wait, there's nothing wrong with waiting to buy a system. I mean, you did it with the PlayStation 4. I did it with the PlayStation 4. I bought the PlayStation 4 when did I buy it? I think I bought it 2014 at some point. I didn't buy it at launch. I'm like, not really anything that I want. Same thing goes for the Xbox One. Not really anything that I want. You know, PS3. There's nothing wrong. So the Switch is still new. And I understand, but like I said, I understand when people say like, hey, you know, they want this, they want this, they want this. But like I said, you know, it would just be great if you want it, just wait. There's nothing wrong with just waiting. I already knew this system, especially when they started talking about it, like, oh, well, it's going to be free, then the paid's going to come later. I already knew that, like, okay, well, they're probably not going to have things ready for this system at launch or anything like that. But I want to play Zelda. That's the most important thing. I want to play Zelda. I want to play Mario Kart. I want to play ARMS. I want to play all the games. You
just named, like, that's a perfect example of getting your voice chat, you know, getting that situated, getting that corrected, because you just named all online games. So,
outside of Zelda.
Okay, except Zelda. Like, basically, Nintendo is starting to dabble into online. They're getting really serious with online gaming. So, you know, when people play online, they would like to talk to their friends. And they kind of made a half a step, if you want to call it. Like, don't get me wrong, the app, like, that is a good idea, but having that as your primary you know, voice chat, like, I just don't agree with that. That right there should be a secondary, in my opinion. Like, don't get me wrong, like, when I play on PlayStation, play on Xbox, I got my Xbox app, I got my PlayStation app. Somebody messaged me, I messaged them back on my phone. That's cool. I like that. You know, same with Nintendo. Well, we still can't message our friends yet whenever that happens. But, like, that's a secondary. I like that. But when it comes to you know, chatting with my friends, I would like to put a headset on and plug it to my controller, or at least, well, not with the Pro controller because it doesn't have a headphone jack. At least get a, you know, Bluetooth headphones. And right, as far as we know, there is no headphones Bluetooth compatible with the Pro controller. As far as we know, we don't know. But you know,
the controller for the Nintendo Switch, it doesn't have any audio routed to it. You know what I'm saying? Like it is. So yeah, you can't do any Bluetooth with it. And the Bluetooth that's enabled from the console, there's no channel set up for Bluetooth headphones at this moment. The tech is inside there for them to do it at some point, but nothing's enabled at this moment. But I do think, to your point, and I agree, that would be great if you can just plug in headset, chat with your friends. But it's also, we all know 2017, these features, everyone's been able to use it. But at this point, there are so many different ways. I chat with my friends every time I go live on live stream very easily, and I don't have to send a single invite to anyone. Everyone knows on my Patreon list. Everyone knows my server. I don't got to send a single thing. They hop in there when they're ready. For the new people that join in, I put a link for those ones. The other people who already have it on the server, they just hop in. Discord wasn't around back in 2012, 2013 and all that. So I was very vocal about that because I didn't think Hangouts were that great, because Hangouts, you still got to make them. You still got to send a link. You still got to do a lot of different things that you can do with that you're supposed to do on a console, right?
Discord's the best.
Discord's easier than a console. I'm not saying that it shouldn't have it. Now, don't get me wrong. Not saying that it shouldn't have it. But even with PS4 and Xbox One, I use Discord because I'm lazy. I don't want to send an invite to someone. If I want someone, like one person, to come into my room that I know that, hey, this is going to be my friend, I'll just make a whole new server and there'll be a private server between us. Whenever I hop in a game, he just hops in. So if Discord was around back then, I'd be like, okay, yeah, great. It would be for, voice chat on there. But Discord is so good that I'm just like, okay, I'm just going to use Discord. But like I said, to your point, I definitely feel I want to make sure that nobody thinks that I don't think that there shouldn't be the native chat in there, because a lot of people maybe don't have a PC right next to their system. A lot of people don't have a cell phone that they can use in that. So I agree, the app needs to be better. I also said the app needs to be integrated into the console. But just for me personally, as I said, when people get mad when I don't sit there and pull a pitchfork, for me personally, it's not something that I'm going to use. I'm not worried about like first-person shooters because I don't care about first-person shooters. So I'm not going to raise a pitchfork that there's not a lot of first-person shooters, because to me, that's fake outrage to me, because I don't care about first-person shooters. So it's the same thing kind of like with voice chat. If it did have native voice chat, would I use it sometimes? I would probably say the percentages of me using native voice chat on the Switch are very low, because whenever I live stream, all the people come in from the Patreon, all the people come in from, my friends, and it's easy for them to. I don't have to send invites to every single one person. That's more work for me than I need to do. When Discord is right there, the voice quality is better, it's faster, it's just easier overall, So that's the reason why I'm not throwing up a pitchfork and anything like that, because it's like, well, I probably wouldn't use it because honestly, and this is honest truth, I don't use it on PS4 and Xbox One. So that's the thing. So I'm sorry if I upset people with that, because I know some people say, oh, well, you're damage controlling when you say that. No, it has nothing to do with that. I hope you guys get everything that you want. But for me personally, it's just not as big of an issue. Voice chat can be added easily to anything. I was playing a Super Nintendo game, the other day, and I was voice chatting with a buddy of mine. So voice chat can be easily added to anything these days. Although I do feel you're right, man. You're 100% right. Nintendo needs to, have it. They need to have it in there. It needs to be something that that people can hook up and play, because not everyone's going to have a PC, in their place. So I agree with you. I agree with you there. I just feel that it would be nice, because when you say, oh, well, you're damage controlling this situation, I get your users coming over to me and basically making the conversation like less intelligent. I don't know what I mean, because they can't counter anything I say. All they say is, well, you're damage controlling. I'm like, what am I damage controlling? Nintendo having voice chat. I'm like, I said Nintendo should have voice chat. Oh, you're a fraud. I'm like, okay.
I don't know if that's my people. I don't know if that's my people, because my people is your people. Like,
I'm just saying, some people, like I said, some people come over to me, that's what they're saying. I'm like, okay, I never said any of that. What am I damage controlling? What am I saying that's wrong? I'm simply offering a take without my pitchfork. I left my pitchfork back when my hair started falling out, because my pitchfork was raised quite a bit. And I'll tell you something right now, when you raise that pitchfork, trust me, if you get upset about these things, especially if you're passionate about gaming, you will lose your hair at some point. Like, it's not a joke.
It's not that serious, man. Like, if you see me ranting and raving, whatever, I just do it as entertainment, man. Like, some people, they love when I rant. Some people say I'm the best ranter on YouTube. Like, I just do it for entertainment. Like, I don't want nobody take it, too personally, man. Like, it's just me. I just I like to keep it real. That's just me. Like, I'm not gonna talk about your mama. I ain't gonna be stalking you. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, we had our issues before. Like, if you remember, like 2-3 years ago, I don't know what it was. We got into it for something. Then we got in the hangout. We never went live. We got in the hangout to discuss I don't know what the hell we argued about. It was. I don't know if you remember that. I think it was like 3 years ago. I don't know. But yeah, man, like, I don't take this as serious. It's just YouTube. It's just video games. I got black man problems over here, man. So video games is second to me.
Your own friends are saying that you're lying in the chat, by the way. Active Sin and Leah, they're telling you that you're lying. So they said you're lying like a Microsoft exec.
Okay. So Nia and Alex, okay, y'all want to gang up on me like that? Okay. I got y'all on my next podcast. I got y'all.
All right,
good, it's all good.
I do want to clear up one more thing from your podcast, or a couple more things. I think you misinterpreted my quote about exposure for the channel. I was mainly mainly talking about Andy.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah. No,
okay. Yeah. I was mainly talking about him, so I don't want your users to think that I was going to upload a video, exposing this person's channel. I don't know if I've ever done that before. I might have talked about something. I don't know if I ever said, "Oh, you're exposed" or anything. I don't think I've never danced to the song or anything like that. So that's definitely not what I was trying to do. After looking into a dictionary and reading, maybe exposure wasn't the best word. But I just meant it in a way to just get the channel out there for Andy, as far as me talking to Andy, because Andy's been wanting to do a collaboration with me for a while now. So, it's
all good. Okay, like I said, man, a whole couple months, like, I apologize, Lo. I'm sorry that it went left. A simple conversation then went from bad to worse, and this name calling, like, I'm done. Like, I just want to clear the air, man. Like, I like you, like your content. I like how you basically I don't know how you do it. That's a lot of videos you upload a day, man. I don't know how I see how passionate that you are with this. I wish I had that kind of time to do it, but hopefully one day I can be as passionate as as doing content as I would like to, but I got other stuff I got going on. My wife is pregnant, my third child. I'm trying.
Congratulations.
Yeah, appreciate it, man. I'm trying to get a business. So I'm gonna get a gaming truck going on, and I had some car issues a few weeks ago. I'm out over $4,000. I had to get another car, and that $4,000 was in my gaming truck fund. I was trying to save between $15,000 and $20,000. Get a gaming truck, get a trailer, and start my own business. I'm talking about gaming trucks, like you go to birthday parties and stuff. You've seen gaming trucks before, right?
Yeah. Nintendo has some type of gaming truck deal.
Yeah, I'm trying to invest my money into that, so I can stop doing what I'm doing for a living. It's hard work. It's good money, but it's hard work. So I'm doing that right now. So that's why. Like,
no, I feel you, man. I feel you with that one.
So people, like, if they want to know why I don't do as much content as I used to, I got a lot of stuff going on in my life right now. But as far as like the whole entire Twitter, YouTube beef, there's no beef, people. All the people that's in the chat, no beef. I'm clearing everything up.
Well, that's why we're here, right? That's why we're here. One more thing, by the way, just as a little side note for your business, like I said, I have two. And yeah, I was in the same boat as you, just with less kids. Just one kid for me. But I was in the same boat as you. And I would say the most rewarding thing, and I make less money than I made when I worked my corporate jobs. Because I worked straight out of college. I had corporate jobs working at various places, and I make less money now, but it's far more rewarding. It's way more rewarding. I don't know what's going on with my eye. My eye is freaking. There's something, I think it's from the cream that I use on my face, the lotion. But anyway, it's getting into my eye. But what's it called? It's far more rewarding for me to do what I'm doing now than what I did before. Yeah, this is really getting in. Jesus Christ. Freak.
Man, your face look mad greasy, man.
It just kind of got in there because I use this cream to make my skin feel healthier because I went vegan. So I got to use some different type of cream. Yeah, I went vegan recently, so yeah, man. But anyway,
hey, what the Capcom situation? Was about to discuss that the sales of Ultra Street Fighter 2 and all that.
Yeah. I want to discuss this because this has become somewhat of an issue. Some people felt that that Capcom was basically like they used Street Fighter in order to say, hey, this is how we're going to this is how we're going to make games or anything like that. But just to let you guys know, let everyone know, Capcom, and that's why I did the video this morning, Capcom will be Capcom. Capcom is a porting studio that doesn't give a flying F about what gamers think in general. If you go on their official forums, people complain, people say you guys should do this, this, and this all the time. And they don't listen to anything. People have been saying we need Mega Man. People have been saying we need this, we need that. Capcom is a porting studio. Look at the first 2-3 years on the PS4 and Xbox One. PS4 had record sales. What did they bring new to the system? What games did they bring? They got x86 system. What have they done this whole generation? They've done absolutely nothing. This company hemorrhaged their most popular franchises for a little bit of Sony's money.
Yeah, basically.
They hemorrhaged 2 different, and people are asking, what do you think of Retro Death's response? Retro Death doesn't know what he's talking about. He never knows what he's talking about. Retro Death never knows what he's talking about. Retro Death you will say one thing, Retro Death will latch on to one thing that you say, and he'll just drive that point home. There is no art. He tried to argue that Capcom should still have like the same amount of games because people can just learn to make great games. All of Capcom's talent left a long time ago. Capcom has nobody at that development studio that's anywhere near as good as Platinum Games. When was the last time anybody here played a played a game from Capcom that was as good as anything Platinum Games has done? As Bayonetta, Vanquish, Beautiful Joe, because that was the old one. They have no one. They have no one. That was the guy who did DMC. That was the guy who did Beautiful Joe, Okami, Shinji Mikami. He's the one who did Resident Evil 4. That was the basis for Resident Evil 4. He left. He does The Evil Within. Who is at Capcom? Platinum Games is essentially all ex-Capcom. That staff. Remember, and that was also staff that did Resident Evil 2. That some people say is one of the best Resident Evils. And Platinum Games is essentially, he took Hideki Kamiya took that staff with them. You know, he took that stuff. There's nobody left at Capcom. Can anybody name any developers outside of Yoshinori Ono at Capcom? Because that's what people are saying, like Retro Death's response. There's no one. Kenji Inafune is gone. Shinji Mikami's gone. Atsushi Inaba's gone. Hashimoto's gone. Everyone's gone. So I don't really
them damn names. It's hard to pronounce.
Well, I'm just saying, like, I don't see where Retro Death is coming from with this argument. The only argument that he has is, oh, well, Kenji Inafune left and made Mighty Number 9, even though he said that Retro Death said that he liked Mighty Number 9. But
it's okay,
whatever.
It's not what we expected. So I played half of, not quit.
Yeah, ever since Kenji Inafune left, that's when they stopped making Mega Man games. You see what I'm like, you know? Like they stopped making, once he left, they canceled his Mega Man World or whatever it was called that was going to have a bunch of different characters from Capcom games. They canceled that. They haven't made a Mega Man game since. They haven't made a real new Mega Man game since he left. So obviously his departure caused them to stop making Mega Man to some degree. Yeah. We got Okami then on the DS. That was it. And it wasn't as good as Okami. We got an HD remaster of Okami that nobody wanted, really, nobody bought. So what Capcom essentially, with all their talent leaving, Capcom essentially turned into just reliving their glory days and making a game or two and hemorrhaging their biggest franchises for the highest buyer. They turned Resident Evil into a PSVR game. That's how. Because there was a story, I can't find it, but I'll let you speak in just a little bit. Sorry for talking so much, but there was a story where I think it was back in like 2010. They're like, oh well, Resident Evil, or no, it was like 2011 or 2012. I'm not sure. It might have been after that. And like, yeah, the next Resident Evil is going to take a long time to come out, you know? And then all of a sudden, like, oh yeah, we have Resident Evil 7. Here it is. It's coming out January. And I was like, hold on. You just said it's going to take a while. Oh, I know what happened. Sony paid you money to make this the best experience for VR. That's what happened. Oh, you want it first person? Why would you want Resident Evil first person? Like I said, who's the main character in Resident Evil 7? What's his name and what does he do?
I forgot his name.
You forgot his name?
I really forgot his name.
You played Resident Evil 7 and you forgot his name?
I forgot his name. It ain't Chris Redfield. It's not Leon. Like,
well, that's what I'm saying. Nobody knows who he is, but you could name every single main character from all the Resident Evil games. From the PS1 and up, you can name all the main characters. You can even talk about Claire. You can talk about Claire Redfield. You talk about Chris Redfield. You can talk about all these different characters. And who's Resident Evil 7's main character? Jimmy. That's his. I think his.
I really forgot his name. The game is good. Don't get me wrong. The game is really good. Like, I didn't agree to the whole first person mode to Resident Evil because we're not used to that. We're used to the third person element. I would love for them to go back to the fixed cameras, but I know a lot of people had an issue to it. I'm an old school Resident Evil fan. I would love for them to go back to the fixed camera, but I don't have a problem to the other versions like Resident Evil 4, 5, and 6. Well, we don't speak of 6 no more.
Don't speak of 6.
Yeah, I don't know what that is, man. But yeah, like with Capcom, like they're not what they used to be. They used to provide a lot of quality. You know, I could go back in the day, you know, of course, the whole Mega Man, the Street Fighters, was it Aminutia? What was that game kind of similar like Smash Bros. On the Dreamcast?
Power Stone.
Power Stone 1 and 2, yes. Like
those games was that Capcom? That was Capcom. You're right. Yeah,
that was Capcom. No, those games was awesome. Those games was really fun. I could go back to Final Fights. That was the game that used to compete with Streets of Rage. To everybody used to have an argument or debate what game was better, what brawler was better. But yeah, no, I'm a huge Sega fan, so y'all already know what I'm about to say.
Streets of Rage,
man. But
Streets of Rage 2 is amazing. I love Streets of Rage.
That's like the best brawler ever, man. But I love Final Fight, man. Like Capcom used to be the shit back then. They had the green, but this past decade, it's like they relying on so many ports. So we can go back to the Wii. Like I know somebody mentioned, I think on Twitter yesterday, something about like, okay, I'm trying to remember what he said. He said something about, okay, if you just wait, then Capcom will eventually put Resident Evil 7 on there. Like you got to get the spinoffs first. So I'm like, I'm trying to think if that's exactly what he said. I was like, okay. If you want to go, if you want a brand new Resident Evil game, like the Nintendo system had a brand new Resident Evil game since the GameCube, because if you go back to the Wii, if you want to talk about the mainline, they didn't have no mainline Resident Evil game brand new on the Wii. They had a bunch of ports, Resident Evil 0, Resident Evil 4. You got the Umbrella Chronicles, Dark Side
spinoffs. They had spinoffs, the Umbrella Chronicles and Dark Side Chronicles.
Resident Evil 6, that was no show on the Wii. Xbox 360 got it, the PS3 got it, but people keep on talking about was underpowered. Okay, didn't the Wii got Call of Duty Black Ops? Like it can happen. It can happen.
Capcom didn't want to make Resident Evil. They just didn't want to do it. They didn't want to make Resident Evil for the Wii. Could they have made it for the Wii? Of course. They took whatever engine Resident Evil runs on, or maybe I think it was the MT framework, which I don't know if Resident Evil 5 runs on that. Resident Evil 5. Okay, they took that.
I know Revelation is MT framework.
Yeah, I don't know what Resident Evil 5 runs on, but whatever that is, they made some type of variation version of it. I think maybe it was the MT framework. I'm not sure. For the 3DS, for what was it, Resident Evil? It was like a Mercenaries spinoff where it's basically just the Mercenaries on the 3DS.
No, I didn't like that.
Yeah, but I'm just saying like that's what they did, and like it looked pretty good for 3DS. So if they really wanted to make a Resident Evil game on the Wii, they could have done it, but they just simply didn't want to do the work. They didn't want to do it all. Yeah. So yes, they could have. They definitely could have. But I think the power gap, I mean, I understand what that person was trying to say, but I think I side with you. The power gap is smaller this time around. So if anything, we should get Resident Evil 7. I just think it's going to take a hell of a lot of optimization. Obviously, the game
can work though. It can work.
Yeah.
Like money.
Oh yeah.
there's a install base. Money talks, man.
Oh, absolutely. I just think it's going to take a little bit of time.
Xbox and GameCube was more powerful than PS2, but money talks. They had 150 million install base, man. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter about that. Like, okay, as far as power, when was the last console that won the generation based on power besides PS4? Super Nintendo.
Super Nintendo. Yeah, it's been
Super Nintendo. That was the last system. That's a long time ago, dude.
Yeah, and like I said, I'm not saying that, I just think that like Capcom, like with Resident Evil 7, like that game came out in January. They still haven't started working on it yet. You know what I'm saying? As far as getting a real like actually porting Resident Evil 7. I mean, if they are, maybe that they are. I don't know about it. But right now, I probably think they're still trying to make the optimizations, or they're still working on getting the optimizations perfect for their RE engine on the Nintendo Switch. They already said that, hey, we're doing that. They never said that we finished or we've completed. They just said that we're working on it. They said that, hey, there's a lot of stuff, like it's hard, but we're going to do it. So that's and that's why they requested the whole RAM upgrade, like we discussed beforehand. So could Resident Evil still come to the Switch? Of course, Resident Evil 7, of course it could. But by the time it comes, it's going to be an old port. So will you still want it?
People are upset. Like they were like, if Capcom has been working with Nintendo this whole time, they obviously knew about this system, so they had the dev kits a lot sooner than everybody else. And when Capcom talking about, okay, they run their Resident Evil 7 engine on the Switch, people automatically thinking that, okay, maybe they might get a Resident Evil 7 port to the Switch, maybe earlier than earlier in the life cycle of the Switch, maybe a month after Zelda. In April, it was really a dry month until Mario Kart came out at the end of the month. So that would have been perfect for a new AAA game to come out. So only games I could think of that came out in April was Legacy Undercover, a game that's $60. In which it was $50 brand new on the Wii U. So why is it $60? I don't know. That's just crazy. That's the only game I could think about in April. And of course, April 29th when Mario Kart came out. So it would have been perfect for Resident Evil 7 to come out. Okay, in May, the only game that came out was Disgaea 5, Ultra Street Fighter 2, and Minecraft. And the game that stands out is Ultra Street Fighter 2. That's why it did so well, because there was really no big Nintendo heavy hitter games that came out that month. Basically, Street Fighter had that month alone. That's why it sold so well.
Well, and also the nostalgia. It's Street Fighter 2.
Yeah.
It's Street Fighter 2. I think with Nintendo fans, I mean, maybe they played Resident Evil 5 and Resident Evil 6. Resident Evil 5 and 6 never came to Nintendo system. Then you take a game, you put it in first person. Nintendo fans aren't necessarily going to be as high up on that. I'm not. And then you have that, and then all of a sudden you release it on this system. With you don't know when the sales, you don't know how the sales are going to be. If you take the time in porting that and the money and effort, and then you release it on that system, I mean, maybe it would have sold okay, but maybe it flops. You got to think that they have to think about this in advance. They didn't know, even though that they were helping with Nintendo, they didn't know the system was going to be, what it was going to sell, what it is. And if you were to get it out in May, that means you had to have been working on it. The game was completed in January. So that means you'd somehow have to get an extra team to optimize and port and basically get that out, almost have simultaneous development with it. So that would have just been really tough for Resident Evil. Now the smaller games, you could have got a game out in May. But in my opinion, from what I've seen, from what developers I've talked to, and I asked them, hey, would it be possible to have like that, like based on when dev kits were available? I didn't talk to a single developer that said, yeah, they would be able to optimize, port, get it ready, and have a quality port. Maybe they can get it, but have a quality port in May, it would have ended up like a lot of Wii U games. You're going to have some issues. You're going to have some stuttering. You're going to have some problems. If you wanted to rush it out for that, it just wouldn't be ready. Now, if Nintendo had an x86 system that operated just like PS4, I think they would have been able to do it, no problem. But unfortunately for me, I don't care. But unfortunately for some, Nintendo didn't go that route. So it's tough, because you want everything that the other systems have, but Nintendo Switch doesn't operate like the other systems. ARM CPU, more efficient, but it takes way less power, so your games and your engines, you have to code around that. You have to do more lines of code for ARM, but it's more efficient, it's more power efficient. It doesn't use anywhere near as much. So that's the biggest thing that developers are dealing with. They're like, okay, well, how do we take these x86 games? Yes, we can port easier. Yes, there's native support for Unreal Engine 4. Yes, we're trying to do these things, but how do we take these power hungry machines, that run on all these watts and get it to where it's so efficient and it runs good to where Nintendo fans we'll buy it, because we saw what happened with the Wii U, where they brought over all these games, and there were some performance issues because they should have took a little bit more time to optimize, and they got dev kits before the Switch.
I don't know if people realize Ultra Street Fighter 2 has the same engine as Resident Evil Revelations. That's why a lot of people think it was just pure laziness. And of course, and it was like a statement, and it was like a few weeks before the launch of Street Fighter. Allegedly, Capcom said something about it determines on the sales of Street Fighter. I guess determines on the support of the Switch. Allegedly, I know they came out.
It was a mistranslation. Yeah, they never, and just like today, like with the whole Capcom saying, "Oh well, Nintendo Everything not mistranslated, but Nintendo Everything interpreted the weirdest thing." They said, "Oh well, Capcom says that they are testing future support, like with the Nintendo Switch. They are testing it. Monster Hunter Double Cross is a test for supporting the Switch in the future." Capcom never said
that's a test. That's Monster Hunter. Monster Hunter Nintendo, like,
because Capcom never said that. Nintendo Everything manipulated, which, like I said, I love Nintendo Everything. I love Nintendo Everything. I love them, but that is quite possibly the worst manipulation of a actual article. They paraphrase. Usually they paraphrase or quote. Like they'll have, if you paraphrase, you just have one of the little marks at the top. Like you have two of the little marks that bracket whatever you're talking about. So you loosely say something that's based on what you saw. And then there's quoting, where you actually quote with the two little quotation marks. Yeah. Nintendo Everything didn't use any of those. They just rewrote the whole thing into whatever headline that they wanted to rewrite it to, which I never see Nintendo Everything do. Which Capcom isn't basing. It's Monster Hunter. Of course, it's going to sell well. They already know that. It's going to outsell Street Fighter in Japan. It's going to sell like 400,000, 500,000 copies.
Yeah, especially in Japan. Like whenever it comes out, I think it'll be coming out either this month or next month.
This month. It comes out this month, and I think in a couple.
Y'all think that the Dragon Quest sales is really good for the Switch? Just think whenever Monster Hunter come out for this HD console on the go, this handheld console on the go. Imagine how much it's going to sell. It's going to be huge, man.
To get to your point, Capcom is lazy.
Capcom,
I'm not doubting that. The thing is, I think you viewers, everyone needs to kind of put Capcom in like that little step above Konami.
It's the stuff that they've been saying. It's just
that's who Konami.
That's like they leading people on, like we love Nintendo, we love the Switch doing this, we increase the RAM, we doing this, we doing that. But when it comes to the actual games, we got to see about that. Maybe in the future we will support
that. That's their idea.
Something when it comes to the support of Nintendo system. But
that's their support. That's their actual. That's what they think support is. Capcom, by the end of 2017, will have released 4 games on the Switch: Ultra Street Fighter, Resident Evil Revelations 1 and 2, and Monster Hunter Double Cross. In their opinion, that is support, because the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One did not get that support. So when they say we love Nintendo and all that, that's what they think, because remember, they're not the greatest.
Just them. A lot of people say we love Nintendo, but we can't announce a game at this moment. Like,
that's what I'm saying. Like when you hear Capcom say, "Oh yeah, we're evaluating things and all that," that's their idea of support, because Capcom has turned into a port studio. That's what Capcom is, and a lot of people can't accept that. And shout outs to Freeform. Freeform64 PFG for the $10 donation. He says, happy to see you and Real having a pleasant one-on-one debate. I mean, it's really more of a conversation, but yeah, 100%.
He's the one that got pissed off at both of us on Twitter. I think a few people kind of got pissed off.
Yeah, a few people got pissed off at us, and I think that was not only because, like we talked about privately about the whole, African American situation with YouTube, right? Stuff like that.
I'm far from I'm pro-black, man. I love
that's what I'm saying. Me too.
I'm pro.
So
I ain't no jigaboo, man. I'm sorry.
Yeah. So I mean, a lot of people kind of came to me too on the back end and said, "Hey, this isn't good for for us." So
yeah, I know.
Yeah, so I mean, I think we both can. I'm definitely sorry about that as well. So I think Freeform was a little upset at both of us when it comes to things. But thank you for the donation. I do appreciate that. But moving forward, like everyone's expectations of Capcom, like I understand you guys can be upset, but yo, like I said, when was the last time you played a Capcom game that was as good as Resident Evil 4 or as good as Beautiful Joe or Kami? When was the last time? What they made?
Resident Evil Revelations was a good game. I actually did enjoy it when it came out for the 3DS first.
As good as 4?
Revelations 2, no.
Like, was it as good as 4?
But I did not like it.
Was it as good as 4 though? In your opinion, was Resident Evil
4?
Resident Evil Revelations 1, was it anywhere near as good as 4?
A lot better than 6.
Yeah, that's not saying much though. I mean, that's not, what's I'm saying is like Capcom.
I will put Revelations probably either right by Resident Evil 5 or a little bit under. I like both games. I did like Resident Evil 5. You know, that's when it was at the point that it was starting to go. It was the whole entire run and gun, shooting zombies. People was comparing this Resident Evil to Call of Duty because it's just not that survival horror type of Resident Evil that we grew up loving. But when 6 came about, I don't know what that was, man. It was terrible.
Was trash. Six was hot trash.
Trash, man. But I did like Resident Evil Revelation, but no, it's definitely not as good as 4. Yes, you're right. Resident Evil 7. I really did like Resident Evil 7. I will put Resident Evil 7 over 5 and 6, and Revelation. It's a shorter game. Like it's the survival horror elements of the game that got me once again a Resident Evil fan. You know, like 5 and 6, it was kind of getting but I love games that, you know, basically let's say you playing the game at night, midnight, lights off, and all of a sudden, boom, just some bats flying through your window. Like that was the type of Resident Evil games that I like, and that's what I kind of got from Resident Evil 7. The only thing I liked about it was short. It took me less than 10 hours to complete the game, and it is what it is, man. I kind of felt that Capcom could have put a little bit more effort into expanding this game without charging for DLC. But I would say it's a good game. It's not great. It's a good game. I'm pretty sure it's a discount right now. You probably get it for maybe $30 or $40.
It's about $30, $40 right now.
So it's definitely worth $30, $40. But it wasn't worth $60 at lunch. It wasn't. But I'm a huge fan of Resident Evil. That's why I went and supported it.
I think Capcom, as far as their games have just been so mediocre. I'm not trying to say that Resident Evil 7 is mediocre, but I think that they've gotten somewhat of a pass because of how mediocre that they've been, that when Resident Evil 7 comes out, and it's literally a PSVR title. This is a PSVR title. If you stripped away the Resident Evil name, you know, and you didn't know it was, let's just say you saw the game playing and you didn't hear the name of it, would you think this is a Resident Evil game? You would just think that, oh, this is a PSVR game. Sony put 2 times on the box, at the top of the box, at the bottom of the box, PSVR. Hey, PSVR. To me, like I said, I don't want to play PSVR. If that's the best way this game is supposed to be enjoyed, then I will skip the game. If you sell out with PSVR, in my opinion, like I said, if they want to make the game that way, that's fine. You want to hemorrhage your fan base, whatever. But after Resident Evil 7, after everything that's been going on with Capcom, my expectations of them have completely lowered to the point to where I don't get phased. I don't get phased when they do stuff like this. And really, I don't see why anyone should be upset or mad at Capcom outside of you just saying, okay, well, they're not what they used to be. But it's been like this for years. Like, people need to learn. You've got to move on, right? You've got to move on. We've got to start looking at some of the up and coming developers. We've got to start looking at some of the other people. The problem that some people have is that they're holding the IPs hostage, right? Mega Man, you know, Okami, Beautiful Joe, Devil May Cry, and I think that's where the anger comes from.
Well, you got the Mega Man collection, the Disney Afternoon collection. People are still pissed off about that. I kind of like old ports. I feel like it takes much to port on the Switch. That's one of the reasons why some people are pissed off at not Konami.
Old ports, you know, old ports
I know.
Supporting Capcom's already, you know, ridiculous porting problem. I'm buying Resident Evil Revelations 2 because Resident Evil Revelations 2 is a game that everyone said that should have come out on the Nintendo Wii U or the 3DS, and it didn't come out. Then we learned it was episodic. Then we learned it was kind of like big install sizes. Then like, okay, well, I can kind of see why it's not on 3DS. 3DS doesn't have a model to support what they're trying to do. But that was a complete mess up. Now, Resident Evil Revelations, obviously, they fixed it up. They have online multiplayer. It's a good game with everything packaged in there. If you play in the state that it's in at this point, it's not bad. It's a good.
It's pretty good.
And it's $20. It's $20, and you get all of that. So for me, I'm like, okay, I will support that one game. You know, I will support that one game because it's a game that I was crying for. So I'm not going to go back on my word, you know, just because it's 2 years ago. We never got the game on there, and I never beat the game. I think I played like the first chapter or something like that. So I think that's a good call for Resident Evil. Now, if it was just Resident Evil Revelations 1, you know, and if it was like $50, you know, like, you know, then I have a problem. Or if it's like $40,
because it was on Xbox One and PS4 for $20 a piece, so that would have really been a ripoff.
Exactly. But this one isn't a rip. This one isn't a ripoff, especially compared.
You know, like I said a while ago, like, you know, if it's the point that we're receiving more ports than new games, then that's what's going to be an issue.
But
you know,
that's
Capcom on it.
that's Capcom in a nutshell.
Yeah, no, that's Capcom. I'm talking about just in general, you know, just not them. I'm talking about other developers, you know, everybody else, you know, like
okay.
It's new system, you know, like when it comes to PlayStation and Xbox, they're going to get all their support because they know that their fan base is going to buy their games, the Maddens and the NBA 2Ks, and you know, all those games that they always play. So they know they're going to get that support. I guess when it comes to Nintendo, you know, it's going to be different because history tells that 9 times of 9.5 or maybe 9.8 out of times, 9.8 out of 10 times, like the Nintendo games is going to outsell the third-party games. Like I don't know when the last time that there was a third-party game in the top 10 best sellers on any Nintendo's consoles besides the Super Nintendo. With was Super Street Fighter 2. That was like a top 5 game. That was a top 5 selling Super Nintendo game. Besides that, I can't really think of anything else.
Just like shovelware, you know, like if you're talking about like Wii. Like we had a lot of like Just Dance. Like there's like Just Dance games that sell like 10 million on the Wii. You know what I'm saying? Like 9 million. Yeah. So I mean, if you talk about that, then yeah, I would just say like Just Dance. There's like Zumba Fitness. You know, these type of games. But if you're talking about stuff like, you know, traditional bestseller on like PS4 and Xbox One, you know, I mean, there's never anything like that because. Yeah, Grand Theft Auto, even the Chinatown Wars that came out didn't do that great, even though it was a great game, you know, that didn't do that great just because, like I said, you're competing with Nintendo's games and you have to be very careful. That's what these third-party developers are doing. Very careful with when you release the game and how many systems are out before you release that game. I personally think, and, you know, I'll kind of drop some information here. There's definitely third-party announcements coming. Like, yes, E3.
Oh, I know it is. Yeah, it's doing too damn good for them to ignore it.
Exactly, and it's continuing. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's continuing to sell. Like, developers know, like, okay, this system's going to sell. Okay, we're seeing some successes with third-party. Heck, indie developers are selling 400,000 copies of games. I mean, Blaster Master Zero just hit 100,000, you know, for indie titles, smaller ones. So these developers know the Japanese gaming industry is taking note. We have was it Virtuos or whatever? Apparently, they're porting over some type of major third-party game over to the Switch. They did Final Fantasy: The Zodiac Age, the Batman Arkham games. They did the Ezio collection. So they're porting over stuff. So yes, it's going to be some of them are going to be old ports, but just like PS4 and Xbox One, those systems also got a bunch of remasters and ports at the beginning of the system as well, sprinkled in with some new games here and there. That's kind of what's happening with the Switch. But third-party developers, they're very careful because maybe some of them could have had some of their newer games out or put out there, you know, at this point. But they want that install base too. That's one thing that they.
I understand. That's why I kind of, you know, maybe want Nintendo to not fund all of it, just get those really important ones like GTA or get you know, maybe a Call of Duty, you know, those type of games. Yes, I know we talked about it earlier, the dev kits and how long they had it. Yeah, like, you know, Nintendo, they should have been on top of that. If they know that their library going to be kind of lackluster when it comes to third parties in the first year. Maybe, you know, whenever they announced the NX, maybe they should have got with Activision, got with EA or whoever, be like, hey, we got this system coming out in such and such year. We would love to have this game. I know you're not gonna put it over there. I know you're not gonna port it over to a system without us funding y'all. So here's some money funded. I would like for y'all to keep this on the hush. Do not leak it. That's probably why that they got their kits kind of late because they did not want it to get leaked. So that's why we are in the position that we are right now. But don't get me wrong, like this is an awesome year for Nintendo gamers. Like, well, if you love third-party games, go play on PlayStation and Xbox for the first year. The second year, hopefully it gets a lot better. But if you love Mario, if you love Mario Kart and Zeldas and Splatoons, this is an awesome year for a lot of us, man. Very awesome, man. And, you know, it's so damn awesome that third parties is starting to see that, you know, everybody is coming getting accustomed to this Switch, and it's like I said a while ago, it's hard to find a Switch. It's selling like crazy. What about 5 million sold already, and retailers are still they're still struggling to keep these in demand. That's why we're getting a lot more announcements now. You know, with the revelations. And of course, we got the NBA 2Ks and WWE 2K18 just got announced like a couple of weeks ago. So like it won't surprise me if we got some more announcements this year.
Oh yeah,
it's just they just want to see. Well, I guess what you've been saying, wait and see.
Well, some of them are porting. I mean, there's definitely ones that are porting, and we're going to hear about those. There's going to be some ports that you didn't expect that are going to come, that are going to be announced for like early 2018. There's going to be some games that that you're going to be able to play in the mid-year. There's going to be quite a bit of announcements coming up. But I will say, like, the whole, it would have been great if Nintendo could have funded some of those. I just don't think, maybe Grand Theft Auto, maybe, because that game, come on. But that game with GTA, they're really worried about, like, more than any company, they're really worried about sales. If Nintendo funded and ported it over and it flopped, on the system, that would have been a bad look for them. I mean, because Nintendo, a lot of the games, people don't notice this, but a lot of the games that came to the Wii U at launch were actually funded by Nintendo. A lot of the third-party games, Nintendo gave them money, Nintendo gave them marketing resources and stuff to fund, promote their games. A lot of people don't know that, but a lot of them were. And literally almost every single one of them flopped. It's tough to keep quality control if you're you're shelling out this money to these developers, and you're saying, hey, make a great version. We trust you. Make a great version. Here's the money to do it. And Nintendo does that, and then the version comes out, and everyone says this version isn't as good as the PS3 and Xbox 360 version. This sucks. I'm not buying it. And that's what happened. And you think, like, if you're Nintendo, you're probably thinking like, oh, we really messed up. Because we paid all this money, all these third-party developers, we said that this is going to do well. We put all these games out on there. Our plan was to flood the market with third-party games and fund them, fund like the Batmans and fund all these games. And yeah, they're a little old, but it's okay. People will still buy them. That was the plan. Yeah, the Wii U. We're talking about the Wii U. That was their plan, and they did that. There was a ton of there was Call of Duty. There was the standard games that people are saying that, hey, why isn't this coming? And it completely fell. Like that plan completely flopped because Nintendo can't keep quality control on all these different games. Like, they can't send developers there to make sure that it's fully optimized and runs well. So if they did do that this generation, like, you have to think this was 2-3 years ago when they're planning what's going to happen. I just don't see them following the same plan. I see them taking that money that they invested into third-party developers last generation with the Wii U. I see them taking that money and investing it into stuff like Mario plus Rabbids, investing it into Fire Emblem Warriors, investing it into Skyrim, a game that people really want. People still at this point want on a Nintendo system, Skyrim. I see them investing it into stuff like Fast RMX or Bomberman. Nintendo actually invested into Bomberman. That Nintendo funded that as well.
That's true.
And they funded Snipperclips, which is a third-party developer. They had some of their developers help out, but they also funded Snipperclips as well. So I see Nintendo taking a much reserved and safer approach so they don't completely flop, because it's not just about the game not selling. It's the PR. It's what you always hear. Call of Duty sells like crap on the Nintendo Wii U. It's Call of Duty, these third-party, that's all you heard.
You already know why it sold like crap.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. But it's not only bad for the publisher, money-wise, and bad for Nintendo, but it's also bad for the PR. It's also bad for out there. Like, when people hear, oh, well, nobody's buying the game on the Wii U. Well, nobody's going to buy the game on the Wii U the next year. Nobody plays Call of Duty on Wii U. Why should we buy Ghost? Why should we buy the next one? Same thing happens with Assassin's Creed. Nobody plays it on Wii U. The multiplayer. I need to play with my friends. So there was just so many issues. I think Nintendo and third parties were scared, in my opinion, based on who I've talked to. Nintendo and third parties were scared silly. They're like, hey, let's get this install base up. Nintendo, kill it with first-party games. We'll fund some stuff for you, like Fire Emblem Warriors. We know Nintendo fans are going to want to play that. We know Nintendo fans are going to want to play something like Bomberman. We know Nintendo fans are going to want to play classic Street Fighter. We know they're going to want to play Minecraft, Disgaea, games like this. So get the ones that we can get out and make sure that they're quality. You know what I'm saying? Make sure that they run good, because Minecraft and Street Fighter and Disgaea, the difference between those games and Call of Duty and all that, all those games that came out on the Switch early, they all run good. They're all either the best version or they run really good, which was not the case with the Wii U. So I think third-party developers were just trying to avoid that situation. But like I said, I feel for you, man. It would have been great if Nintendo was able to get something, but they chose Skyrim. You know, they feel that Skyrim.
I don't know why.
Because I think because they feel that Skyrim has the biggest chance to sell with Nintendo fans. I think that's the reason
they want to get good with Bethesda, since Bethesda and Nintendo always hated each other. So that's probably why.
Well, Bethesda had an issue with Nintendo.
Hopefully it was still good. Matter of fact, I never played Skyrim before, so maybe this might be my first shot at Skyrim. You know, with the Switch. I don't know.
You never played Skyrim?
No, I've never been to the Elder Scrolls.
What?
Elder Scrolls, But I might give it a shot, but I don't know, I'm still debating if I want to play it on my Xbox One or PS4, because you know I'm just gonna be real. I'm an achievement whore. I love trophies. That's another discussion. I wish Nintendo can do, or whenever they launch their online paid online service next year. Hopefully they can do stuff like that, man. Like
I'm definitely not an achievement. I used to be, but I don't have the time to hunt for achievement now. I just kind of play my game, get my enjoyment, and go. But yeah, I see what you're saying with the achievements. Maybe they add something like that in the future or anything like that. But to be honest, man, I think we kind of already discussed pretty much everything. I know we kind of went off on a rant with Capcom when it comes to different things, but I want to let people know, just so it's clear, Capcom, please do not listen to the headlines that some people are putting up. Capcom will port games to the Switch. They're going to be a port studio for the Switch. They're not evaluating Monster Hunter. They're not evaluating Street Fighter. Man, they were going to release Resident Evil Revelations 1 and 2 based on the sales of the Switch. That's going to determine what the Switch gets. If the sales continue to sell, if the sales of the Switch continue to go, Capcom will continue porting all of their crap. Yeah, I mean, so
the sales of Street Fighter 2 kind of generated them to go ahead and give them the green light to announced that they're porting that game to the Switch.
I don't think so. I really honestly don't think that Street Fighter 2 had really anything to do with it.
It just seems fishy, man.
because in April, they already said it. Back in April, before Street Fighter even launched, they already said that they have that they're preparing multiple games, console re-releases. They said including the Nintendo Switch. They specifically said that back in April, before Street Fighter even launched. They're like, hey, we're going to do multi-platform development. We're going to do console re-releases, including the Nintendo Switch. So right then and there, they already planned and were budgeting for the games for that year. Because when you plan in a financial year, you're letting your investors know, hey, what's upcoming. So everything that we heard about, whether it's Marvel vs. Capcom Infinite, Street Fighter, whatever the case is, everything was planned and budgeted within that financial year. Resident Evil Revelations 1 and 2 was already part of that back in April when they said that. With Ultra Street Fighter 2, they were just like, oh, we're surprised with the sales. You know, it had nothing to do with that. Now, of course, they beat some of the projections with the game, and they were happy about that. But Resident Evil Revelations 1 and 2 was coming no matter what. They already let us know that they're doing multiple console releases. It's in the, if you see my last video, or I can link it to you. I'll show you the little thing where they already said that they have multiple console. They already said they have multiple ports for they said including the Nintendo Switch. That was already something that they said before Street Fighter 2 even launched. So when people saying, oh, well, you know, the sales of this is generating them to do that, I was like, no. They already let us know back in April in their financial reports. They let their investors know back then. So yeah, it seems a little bit fishy, but yeah, Capcom is being Capcom.
Yeah, we can like Capcom. Like, yeah. I'm still trying. I don't know, man. I don't know. Like, time will tell. Yeah, if they say they're gonna start porting games, well, we know how Capcom. They are a porting machine, and the reason why they are a porting machine, because I think they almost went bankrupt like a few years ago. I think they put their company for sale, and I think nobody didn't take them. So that's probably why
they didn't do that. They didn't go that far, but it was getting to the point to where they were going to be bankrupt. And then they got kind of bailed out with the amazing, phenomenal sales of Monster Hunter 4.
Yeah. So if it wasn't for Nintendo, they probably be in the path. Well, they probably be worse than Sega right now.
Yeah, they spent their money on a winery or something like that. That didn't work. You know,
Hopefully next year, the Switch and the Capcom, everybody that's supposed to be supporting the Switch, hopefully they can at least get.
I would not bank on Capcom if I were you. If you want to not be
talking about just Capcom, I'm talking about everybody like games like a freaking Madden. You know, the games that we always get every holiday in the fall. Call of Duty and Assassin's Creed. Like, I'm talking about next year. Like, I know this year everybody want Nintendo to draw their install base up because of all their huge exclusives that's coming out. Of course, we got the end of the year with Super Mario Odyssey coming out. So yes, like this year is a hell of a year for first party, but next year Nintendo, they can't keep this up. They can't keep coming out with Zeldas every year, 3D Mario games every year. Like time will tell. Like is third party's going to get really serious with Nintendo whenever they start drawing out their IPs. So they can't keep coming out with Splatoons every other year, Mario or Zelda every other year. That's like a 3 to 5 year window of developing these games. So you know, hopefully the install base can be around 20 or 30. Well, I won't say, it'd be nice to be 30 next year. I would say maybe
nice. It would be nice. I don't think it can get there though, but it'd be nice.
I'll say maybe 20-something million by next holiday. That's what I'm thinking. I'm just gonna say 20 million by next holiday. That should generate enough sales for all these developers can go ahead and put these games on the Switch, because the first test was basically the Ultra Street Fighter 2, and it did extremely well. And I think they said they sold about 450,000 copies in April, but we in August now, so it should be well over 500,000. It might be close to me, all we know. So basically, Nintendo fans basically said, okay, they actually do buy third-party games. Why is the Nintendo fans buying third-party games? Is it because it was a game that released in the month that there was no Nintendo titles that was released in that same month, or is it the fact that Nintendo actually advertised their system? They actually putting people that's our age on commercials, so other people that's our age and maybe older or a little younger could be like, okay, so Nintendo is not for children after all. So maybe I can just go ahead and give it a shot. And with all these games that's coming out for Nintendo, you know, people taking a liking of it. They love the portability factor of this thing. This is a great console. It still has a lot of work to go. You know, we still got some little issues, but overall, I'm enjoying Splatoon. I'm enjoying Mario Kart. I love it, man. But you know, hopefully we get this third-party stuff situated within the year. I won't say within a year too. Hopefully within the year. Hopefully by the time the end of this year, hopefully there's a shitload of announcements for next year. Hopefully Activision does a Call of Duty for next year. Hopefully that's what I'm saying.
We'll see. I do feel like I said before, it needs to be the right third party too. You know what I'm saying? Like it needs to be. I personally, on the other end of the spectrum, I feel that certain games Nintendo fans just won't buy. I don't think Nintendo fans will buy Assassin's Creed. I don't think Nintendo fans like Assassin's Creed. I speak to a lot of Nintendo fans. When I went to E3, I'll ask questions, and I don't like. And I know you'll say, "Oh yeah, Assassin's Creed." I know the internet will say, make it seem like Nintendo fans like Assassin's Creed, but I don't know any Nintendo fans that really like Assassin's Creed. But then you see people saying, "Oh, well, why isn't there Assassin's Creed?" That game would flop. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just saying it needs the right third-party support. Like,
I think with the Switch and with the success of the Switch, I think this console is Nintendo's first hardcore system since the GameCube. I think this system's more hardcore than the Wii U and of course the Wii. So
don't tell that to Mrs. T. Mrs. T will be very upset at you right now if you say that.
Okay, Mrs. T. There are some hardcore titles on the Wii. It's just the stigma of the Wii, the perception of it. People say it's for kids, it's a casual system, it's motion controls, even though it did have a lot of rated mature games, but I'm just saying overall on how people think of it. But with the Switch, like you see their commercials, man, Nintendo is basically telling everybody, okay, we're not doing that shitty Wii U commercial telling having kids telling parents, well, this is why you should buy us a Wii U. No, don't scratch that mess, man. Yeah. I love how they did the Super Bowl commercial. That was on point. I loved it, and it's like everything they did was right in their marketing team. I'm glad they got rid of that Scott Muffet guy. I'm glad he's no longer there.
You blaming Scott Muffet?
It's terrible, man. I'm glad they got rid of him, man. But,
they dissolved his position. They just said, yeah, we kind of don't need you.
Yeah, but hey, man, like whatever they doing, it's right. So I'm happy for Nintendo. I'm happy that they got the marketing thing right, because us YouTubers, like, we don't work for Nintendo. Like, we can tell Nintendo, hey man, like, why are you marketing this towards kids? Why are you not marketing this game on this television station? Why are you always marketing on Nickelodeon, Cartoon Network, and Disney? Like, kids don't work. They don't have jobs. Us like well, majority of us, we don't watch cartoon stations. We watch Showtime, HBO. We watch FX, Fox, NBC. Like we watch those networks, man. So how can we be aware of this system if Nintendo don't advertise on that station? That's one of the reasons why the Wii U failed. The confusion of the name, the lack of marketing, the timing. It was a lot that just went down south. Don't get me wrong, they had some great titles. I love Mario Kart. I love Wind Waker. Wind Waker HD was the first time I played Wind Waker. I never owned a GameCube, so I love that game. That was brand new to me. You know, Donkey Kong, Splatoon. They had a great lineup. The deal with that is the lack of marketing and the dry spells that would kill them. And of course, third party, they left after the first year. And
the games, I think also with Zelda, you know, you bring a game as high quality as Breath of the Wild, that's going to get a lot of people excited. You bring Mario, that's going to get a lot of people excited. Even for next year, their lineup, even for next year, actually looks pretty solid, because you're going to have a brand new Fire Emblem game. You're going to have some third party support like you're talking about. You know what I'm saying? Like you're going to have Shin Megami Tensei 5. That's an exclusive. You know what I'm saying? That's third-party support right there. You're going to have a brand new No More Heroes game or Travis Touchdown game. You know, that's third-party support as well. You're going to have some more stuff as well. There's definitely going to be some more. I don't think that it's going to get everything like standard, like what Microsoft and Sony gets, just simply because the system itself, and also the stigma. There's just a lot of things that kind of play into it. But will it get something like Call of Duty? Will it get something like that? Oh yeah, I definitely think that it could potentially. Now, the way that Call of Duty develops their games, at least what they tell you, is that they have 3 different teams and they're all working on Call of Duties for 3 years each. You know what I'm saying? So that could maybe drive a wrench, you know, because the next year's Call of Duty would have already been in development for 2 years, you know, so that could potentially drive a wrench into what they're trying to do, whether it comes like what they're trying to do graphically or whatever the case is. But I honestly feel that Nintendo has made a system that basically it's covered a lot of bases if things fail. Like, okay, well, if third-party games don't do as well, well, it's portable. People love portable games. The 3DS had no business, if you look at it from just a strictly third-party support standpoint. Western developers abandoned that system, and the 3DS is still selling pretty good. You know what I'm saying? Because of the Japanese support and because of Nintendo's first-party support. So Nintendo factored that into the Switch. Like, okay, well, at least it's portable. We can get those portable fans. So even if we don't get the Western support, we can still be successful, because the 3DS was very successful with literally less third-party support than the Wii U had. You know, like Western support. The Wii U had more Western games and Western support than the 3DS, and the 3DS has been on the market. When we're talking about not indie games, we're talking about bigger developers. Wii U had more. There was no Call of Duty on 3DS. There was no Assassin's Creed that got canceled. There was just so many third parties that just said, nope, not doing anything on 3DS. And it was still very successful. Whereas Wii U had third parties and was floppish because of the reasons that you said. So I think Nintendo tried to make this system, when you're planning it, as, you know, give yourself outs. You know what I'm saying? Well, if one thing doesn't work, make sure you do this. If this doesn't work, make sure you do this. And that was the problem with the Wii U. Their original plan didn't work. And once their original plan fell apart, then the whole system fell apart because they couldn't get games out fast enough. Third-party developers abandoned them. So I think you're right, though. Again, going back to one of your points, saying that, hey, Nintendo can't keep this up. They need to have some third-party support, you know, to help fill in the gaps. And I definitely think Nintendo, their work, like they have that covered. Like that's why they went out and got Shin Megami Tensei. That's why they're getting that new No More Heroes game. That's why you're going to see other exclusives. Like you're going to see something from Platinum Games. You know, Platinum Games, they have something. You're going to see an exclusive from them. You're going to see something from Software. You're going to see more stuff from Square Enix. You're going to get Dragon Quest. You're going to get Project Octopath. You're going to get more games from them. So I think that the support, trying to get down to what I'm trying to say, is going to be definitely shifted more towards Japanese developers. But you might see some stuff like Payday, some other games that are coming. Yeah.
Well, I don't know who asked for that, but yeah, we get
absolutely no one. But they're going to do it. You see, Virtuous. Maybe we're getting Batman, the 2 Batman games, once again, old ports. But you're going to get those. You're going to see some of that stuff, you know, come out and get announced, and you're going to see a couple games. Bigger third-party games. I know, like Starlink Battle for Atlas. That's a game that's simultaneous on all the different systems: PC, PS4, Xbox One. Uses Snowdrop Engine, launching at the same time with the Nintendo Switch. That was announced at Ubisoft's press conference. So you're going to see stuff like they announced that. If there is another Division, that could potentially come to the Switch as well, because that runs on the Snowdrop Engine. Yeah. If there is another Division, if they ever make another Division game, I will definitely say something if Ubisoft doesn't put it on there. At least just say, hey, we're going to consider, because Ubisoft has said multiple times now that the Snowdrop engine is a perfect fit for the Switch.
Like everything's perfect fit for the Switch. Like I said this a long time ago. I was like, okay, you know, a lot of people that live a busy lifestyle, like I live a busy lifestyle, you live a busy lifestyle. A lot of time we always gone, we always want to go. Like, you know, if you can take your handheld console on the go with console graphics and everything, it's out in HD and everything, and you could play a Call of Duty or Battlefield or Grand Theft Auto. You got all these on the go. That what makes this system more attractive than actually playing it on Xbox and PlayStation. Even though the Xbox and PlayStation, you know, it's going to look better resolution, all that. But the advantage that Nintendo has over them is you can play it two different ways, at home or on the go. So I'm not saying that those type of games will sell better on the Switch. I think it can sell enough to generate profit for everybody, from Activision, EA, all of them. That's what I think. You know, and like I said a while ago, the marketing was really helping out the sales. It was really helping everybody. It's the marketing of Nintendo. And if they can actually do what Microsoft and Sony been doing in the past, maybe trying to do some marketing rights, kind of like what Sony's doing with Call of Duty. I believe Microsoft did they used to have the marketing rights for Call of Duty last generation, whatever. But if they can just step outside their comfort zone and do something like that we did not expect, kind of like what they did with the Super Bowl. Who expected Nintendo to advertise their new system in front of 500 million people? Like, I never in my life expected that. That was so not Nintendo. So, you know, they had already stepped outside their comfort zone. Maybe they could do something like that, like, you know, a game like an Assassin's Creed game or, you know, Madden, whatever, like games that people are so used to seeing on Xbox and PlayStation. If Nintendo can actually, you know, dip a little bit into their, you know, maybe, you know, just give them a little money, whatever. You know, just aware people that, hey, man, I could play Madden on the go. Hey, man, I could play Call of Duty and Grand Theft Auto, Assassin's Creed. I could play Battlefield. Like, the portability factor let's just be honest, it's the portability factor of why this Switch is so hot. You know, it's just, I know a lot of people say yes. Well, I'm gonna be real. It's the portability factor. It's the hybrid. It's a hybrid version of why this thing is selling so great. You know, if it was just a home console with the same graphics, it's. I'm not saying it's gonna be worse than the Wii U.
It would have done better than the Wii U because it launched with Zelda and it had a more consistent, you know, lineup. Yeah. But will it have been? It definitely wouldn't have done better in Japan. That's the thing.
Yes,
it would have done better. It would have done worse in Japan because.
Oh yeah, Japan loved their handhelds.
Yeah, Japan loved their handhelds. So it just wouldn't have done. It wouldn't have been as hot. The fact that you can take Splatoon 2, you know, anywhere, that was big for Japanese gamers. It absolutely crushed, you know, Splatoon 1 in sales. You know, so
like 89,000 copies, 89,000 Switches got sold last week because of Dragon Quest, not a Nintendo game, a third-party game, Dragon Quest. Like, when was the last time
well, Dragon Quest didn't come to the Switch, not yet.
In Japan?
No, not in Japan. No, it just came. It came to the 3DS and it came to the PS4.
You sure about that? Then how
I'm positive, right? Probably would have been playing the Japanese version right now.
I could have sworn I saw Dragon Quest on the Switch in Japan.
No, not yet. They're still porting it. They're still porting it, man. Trust me. My channel is all about Japanese news.
You sure about that?
Look at the chat.
I must have looked at it wrong. I could have sworn I saw Dragon Quest when I saw that.
Yeah, no, it's not on the Switch. Dude, trust me, it's not on the Switch yet. Trust me, it's not. What they have right now is they have Dragon. Or what are you talking? Are you talking about Dragon Quest Heroes? Because somebody from you talking about that game?
It was some Dragon Quest. I don't know. One of them just launch. I know for the 3DS, 2DS, they got
Dragon Quest 11.
PlayStation got it. Huh?
Yeah, Dragon Quest 11. That's coming to the Switch, but it's not coming to the Switch. No, it didn't launch with it just recently in Japan. They only launched Nintendo 3DS and PlayStation 4. Those are the versions of Dragon Quest 11, Echoes of an Elusive Age. That launched in Japan, and then the Switch version is coming later.
Okay, you might be right. I must have looked at it wrong. I could have sworn I saw Dragon Quest on the Switch. I must have looked at it wrong.
No. You might have seen the typo. Maybe someone put a typo on there. But yeah, Dragon Quest 11 is not on the Switch right at this.
Okay, you're right. I'm looking right at you're right. Dragon Quest came out with 3DS, PS4. Okay, so I guess it is Splatoon 2 that's still
Famitsu, they had the Famitsu, which charts online retailers. They actually had the Switch at 102,000 for that week because they actually chart online. So it actually beat out, and I have to make a video on this, and I'll talk about it later. But based on Famitsu, which actually probably has it more accurately tracked because they do online, it actually outsold the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 4 Pro combined. The Nintendo Switch actually outsold it without Dragon Quest. And that's just because of the scarcity of the system. That's because of the Splatoon. Yeah, so it actually beat, basically what I'm trying to say here is it beat Dragon Quest. It beat the PlayStation 4 even when Dragon Quest launched on it, which Dragon Quest is probably, that's going to be the biggest game ever to launch on a Sony system, or at least in Japan. I don't know if there's any game that's bigger than Dragon Quest in Japan at this point. Final Fantasy.
So just think whenever it launches on the Switch.
It's going to be great. It's going to be great, but to your point, man,
with this Switch, like I was wrong. I thought Dragon Quest released in Japan on the Switch. I was wrong. Simple mistake. It's not a big deal. But hey, man, it's bad that it's still selling that way because man, we had kind of a huge drop off with the Switch in Japan, selling like about 25,000 a week. But of course, we already know about the Switch shortages. But hopefully, they can keep that momentum going. So let's just like third party said, they're waiting on the install base, and the longer they wait out on getting these shipments in, then the longer we're gonna have to wait on some of these third party games that that we want to play.
Just to one of the Ox in the Box, he says that it's boring because all we're talking about is the sales. But to be honest, guys, it's not. I mean, we like to play games, but sales dictate so much stuff. I mean, if this system came out and if it didn't sell, I don't think we'd even be having this conversation right now. There wouldn't even be. It would be bad if the Switch didn't sell right now, guys. You want to talk about getting games? We wouldn't be getting games. We wouldn't. There wouldn't be enough money for things. You got to have at least some discussion when it comes to sales, because without money coming into the business, we don't get anything. If we didn't put money into Mario Kart and Zelda and all of these games selling, and the system selling, then we don't get games like the Wii U. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's good news. Like talking about great sales for a Nintendo console, man, because in the Wii U generation, oh my gosh, how many PlayStation dudes had to fight off of us? Yeah,
I know. That's what I'm saying. So like when we talk about it, man, it's okay to talk about it now. I mean, because like before, like
one thing we can do is cry in the corner because they was right.
Well, pretty much. I mean, when people talk about sales, I was just like, you know what? Hey, this is what the Wii U selling. It's unfortunate. Like every single week, whenever I did my Media Create sales charts, I'm like, man, I got to do this stupid Media Create. Wii U's not selling. None of the games are selling. Like, there's no games coming out. There ain't nothing coming out. There's no game. So it's good to talk about games launching. This is what's happening. Hey, Nintendo should do this. That's a great conversation to have. It's much better. It's much easier to make videos now. It's much for me at least, because of the fact that
it's positive, man.
Yeah, I mean, there's still a lot of stuff obviously Nintendo needs to fix. So I can understand why if there's negative and there's stuff like that. But as far as what I'm personally trying to do, I mean, there's a lot of negative that I see personally for me with PS4 and Xbox. There's a lot of things I don't like with PS4 and Xbox One. There's so many things that I don't like, but you guys wouldn't know that because I don't make videos on it. I'll talk about it sometimes, but PS4,
the storage space of the console.
It's the fact that a physical game somehow takes up storage space. Like that is quite possibly the most irritating thing to me about the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One, that it's a PC. I really hate that. That's not a console to me. I don't like that. I understand why they did it. I understand, but that's not a console to me. I don't like it whatsoever. I don't think now that we have Discord, now that PC gaming is more accessible than ever, PC rigs are more accessible than ever, paying $60 for online play that's ridiculous.
Yeah, I don't like that.
That's absolutely. I mean, I know you can get discounts. I understand, you can get it for 50 or 40 something, but that's still even ridiculous. Like
CDPs.com, you get for like $45 a year. I think it's
that's still too much compared to PC, because I've been getting into PC gaming a little bit more.
I would rather pay for Xbox because their Xbox Live has always been superior than PlayStation, and plus their free games every month is a lot better than what Sony offers. Because
are they free?
Trash free games.
Are they free though?
Well, technically, okay, it's not free games because you play for we pay for the service.
Yeah,
but then again, like $60 a year, you get like let's say you get like about 6 to 8 AAA games, from last generation. Kind of like we just got Bayonetta this week.
But you should have already been played and beat Bayonetta a long time ago.
I did.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, they give you games that you probably don't have space for on your hard drive.
Yeah,
like that's the main problem that I have. It's like, okay, give me all this crap, give me NBA 2K13 or whatever you're giving me. Give me Watch Dogs. If I wanted Watch Dogs, I would go buy the physical version of Watch Dogs, and I would just, because it's super cheap. I wouldn't want to, well, it takes up your hard drive space no matter what, but I would like to have the box. In my opinion, the games that they give you aren't worth the $60 a year from what they give you. Like, if you're a college student or if you're a high school student and your mom pays for this is amazing. You know what I'm saying? But if you're an adult like us and we can afford Watch Dogs 3 years down the line for $12, or we can afford Bayonetta. I had already played Bayonetta. Like, a lot of these games that they're giving us.
On Wii U, play both of them, Bayonetta 1 and 2. I guess the reason I'm gonna replay Bayonetta on Xbox 360 because of achievements. So basically, like we was talking about a while ago, achievements, like the
okay.
So there's reasons why, man. Like, if you love backwards compatibility, man, that's all they got to offer us right now, man.
Well, it's just for me. It's just, to me, it's not worth like Steam. Steam is so much more worth your money if you want super cheap games. I mean, obviously, you're going to have a bigger hard drive if you go with Steam. I'm not big on PC, but I'm starting to compare, like, weigh the pros and cons. Like, now that I'm really looking at things, because my subscriptions are running out. Like, this year is my last year on PlayStation, PSN, and Xbox Live, and I don't think I'm going to renew because I've been really looking into Steam, and it's the same thing, right? Like, before I used to say no PCs because of the whole hard drive stuff. But now on the PS4 and Xbox One, they do the same thing as a PC, whether it's a physical game. PC games are cheaper. They're way cheaper. You know what I'm saying? You can get games so much cheaper, quicker. There's the Steam sales. So, and it's free. You get all your features that you love without paying a dime.
Yeah, that is true, man.
You get everything. So I'm looking at PS4 and Xbox One like, what's the point of paying this amount of money for voice chat and online play when you can get that same third-party game, unless you're talking about first-party games, right? But mainly people buy third-party games, PS4 and Xbox One. Everyone loves the third-party Call of Duties, all that stuff like that. Why not just go with PC? In my opinion, like I said, and you don't even need a super rig. Like, you can get a GTX 960. That's dirt cheap. I mean, where's Active Sin or
Alex?
Man, he'll hook you up with the PC for like $500. That'll play everything. You know what I'm saying? Like,
one day I'll get a PC. I'm just not into PC game right now. I don't know how to build it. I just never been into it. I always been a console gamer. But just looking how this gaming industry has transitioned over these past few years, it's just a lot of fuckery that's going on. Like, it's like they're taking more money out of our wallets.
Yeah, I mean,
up. Like, just look at the Sony. Their subscription went up with no explanation. They didn't give us. Yeah. I'm still waiting on the explanation on why they raised the $10 more, knowing that it's far inferior to the Xbox Live. Because I be having like issues on my PlayStation. I would rather watch Hulu and Netflix on my Xbox Live than the PS4 or the Wii U, or especially the Wii U. Do not watch it on Wii U. It's trash. It is trash, man. My kids, I try to know they want to watch Netflix, on the I guess on the Wii U. And I had the Xbox in my room. I was playing the Xbox, and they was like, "Daddy, can we have the Xbox so we could watch I don't know, some cartoon they were watching?" I was like, what, the Wii U's not working? No, she was like, no, it's not working. I don't like the Wii U no more. That's what they said. It's just stuff like that, man. Like, I kind of wish Nintendo can basically get more serious with their online. Hopefully next year when that thing, release, hopefully it can be a lot better, because right now I feel that they're using the same service from Wii U, because if you play Splatoon and Mario Kart, I'm still having the same issues with the disconnections. Like, it's the same thing.
I'm not having that as much. I know they released a patch on Mario Kart, and I play Mario Kart pretty much every week. And I know some people have gotten disconnected, but as far as myself, I haven't had any issues with Splatoon. I think I've been disconnected once with Splatoon, and I've been disconnected maybe a couple. It used to happen quite a bit with Mario Kart, but Mario Kart's gotten a lot better.
It was horrible. That first week was
the first week was pretty bad. It was disconnecting all the time. But recently, I played Mario Kart last week, and I had no issues whatsoever. Haven't had any issues with Splatoon. So I think things are definitely improving when it comes to the servers.
and stuff, and definitely an upgrade over the Wii, obviously. But yeah, with Wii U, man, and like with what Nintendo's doing with their online, like I said, I'll definitely reevaluate when the online becomes paid, because right now it's free. It doesn't cost anything.
Yeah,
I can play with my friends. I can just use Discord. We can play Splatoon. I played with Nintendo Ultra or the Red Knight, Terminator Juice. I played with all those dudes, and we all had a great time, man. Everyone was playing and having fun for free. Outside of course, what you pay for the system, right? Yeah. So next year, it's going to be $20 for this online service. It's going to be $20 flat for this online service. So I'm not expecting it to be as good as PS4.
No, I don't.
But I am expecting it to be integrated better with the system. I'm expecting there to have the native voice chat, and if they don't have it on there, I'm expecting it to be significantly improved, because this app is a beta. It's not the full version. It is just the beta of it. So I'm expecting it to be fully integrated with it, to where you can do party chat, to where it's not just supported with certain games, to where you can kind of, it's just better integrated with the system itself and actually being able to do everything. So yeah, man, I'm holding them to the same thing. But for me, in the meantime, like I said, I think you're more of an online gamer than I am. I'm more
no, I play online, but not as much. I'm more of a single player type of person. I love games like Tomb Raiders and Horizon and Zelda. I love those type of games. I don't know when last time I played online. Well, I guess Splatoon and Mario Kart, but as far as Xbox and PlayStation, I just been playing a lot of single players. I play Call of Duty sometimes, but not as much, man. It's like I'm a casual online gamer now. I'm just being real with you, because I prefer single player. Because if you play online a lot, it just takes so much time away from you, man. It's like I got so many games that I need to finish. I just can't spend 2 weeks playing nothing but Call of Duty, 2 weeks playing nothing but Uncharted 4 multiplayer. It's a lot. Some people have time for that. I don't. I play a little bit, and I got to get back on Yakuza. I play a little bit of this. I got to get back on Ratchet and Clank. I got to get back, on Nier. Like a lot of these games that I bought from PlayStation this year, I completed some of, and some of I hadn't finished yet because I've just been so busy. I'm playing the Switch one day, I'm playing the Xbox one day, then I'm playing the PlayStation one day. I got so many damn games that I need to finish. I'm just everywhere. My wife, she's like, man, you need to pick a game. Like you just baby, every week, just alternate. Play Nintendo 1 week, alternate next week to the Xbox, alternate to the PlayStation the other week. I tried to give all my systems some love. I tried. I didn't pay all that money for no reason.
Well, yeah, I mean, I did because I have so many unplayed PS4 and Xbox One games just because of the time, man. The time factor is big for me. I mean, you have another kid coming, so you're gonna have even less time. But for me, I mean, I only have one child, my daughter, and time is still just because she's an only child, so she doesn't have anyone to play with. So I'm her best friend, and she's my best friend.
Ooh, so years, man, that's your next. So
for me, I don't even have the time to play all these games. So when people say, "Oh, there needs to be this," I'm just like, I'm like, calm down. Like I still need to play ARMS more. Like I still need to play this
as much as I want to. Like
yeah, exactly. I haven't played ARMS as much as I want. I'm still lower rank, man. I'm starting to grind on Splatoon and all of that. But it's also like I have my business. Like I have 2 of my businesses that I got to deal with. And you have to make sure that you don't get lazy when you run your own businesses. You know what I'm saying? Like it's very easy to get lazy, when you run your own business because you don't have anyone telling you need to do this. So that's why I try to be as active as I can on social media. Try to do as many videos as I can. I try to do as much personal training, when in between my videos and things like that. So we're all busy and we're all stuff like that. But I think overall, before my Ambi cream literally melts off of my face. I don't know. I mean, I was talking with Nia on Twitter. She said that Ambi cream is the truth. That she uses
I used to use that shit.
Yeah, Ambi cream. I have to use it just because it just helps with my skin and just discoloration and stuff. But anyway, my Ambi cream is literally melting off my face right now because of my lights in my room. So
yeah, your face is. I mean, you look like Mr. Clean over.
Yeah, I know it's looking kind of shiny up. People think I'm like sweating right now, but it's just my Ambi cream that I use. But anyway, so we're pretty much gonna wrap it up here, man. Before my Ambi cream literally gets all over everything. Real man, I'm glad that we can do this to where it was live so people can see. I think we have a good understanding of what's going on, and I think going forward there probably won't be any issues going forward. I want to say that's my bad. You know, I probably shouldn't have done a couple things that I said. You know, so I apologize for that, man. And we want to let everyone know that there's absolutely zero beef. There's no problem there, man. You're gonna keep doing what you do. I'm gonna be supportive. You know what I'm saying? And we're gonna continue to make the community better for everyone, man. So you have anything else you wanted to add?
Well, like you said, Lo, I apologize too because I called you a seller. I called you out, so you know, it's just me sometimes. But yeah, I shouldn't have let it escalate the way it did, and you know, we should have just squashed this a long time ago. You know, but like we grown, man. I'm happy that we actually came and spoke face to face. It's a lot better talking to each other than just typing to each other because you know you could be thinking one thing, then once we talking in person, you could be thinking another thing. Like
exactly.
To each other in person, like we actually getting along as two black men.
Exactly.
I like the vibe, and I know a lot of people expecting some boxing matches going in between. Like I said, man, I wake up extra early when I go to work.
I don't know, man. I don't think I want to box you. You say that you're like 6'2".
I'm just a big old teddy bear, man. So
well, I don't know, man. That's quite the weight advantage. The height. I mean, I'm only 5'9", so and that's 5'9", like on my best day. By the way,
I don't box anybody that's that small, that much. That's just not fair, man.
Like I said, I'm barely. I mean, with my shoes on, with me on my best day, you know what I'm saying? I'm 5'9".
About 5 pairs of socks on.
Yeah, wearing a couple. That's on my best day. I'm 5'9". I mean, so yeah, man. Thanks so much for coming out. I do appreciate it. And yeah, we'll definitely, like I said, we're gonna have a better community going, better relationship going forward, man. And so yeah, I think that's it, guys. Thank you so much. I want to thank once again Freeform, everyone that came out to the chat and everyone who was talking, man. It was good. It was good to talk about things, and I think overall, Nintendo is hopefully they listen, you know, and hopefully they do better.
You're doing awesome right now, so I'm happy.
Yeah. So, Ox in the Box does not like the chat. You know, we said that they're salesman wannabes, and he put a bunch of thumbs down. So I'm even. so it's all good, man. But anyway, thanks so much for watching, guys, and we'll see you guys for the next live stream that I do. I'm probably gonna do some Mario Kart or Splatoon 2 tomorrow, so look forward to that, and of course more videos as well. All right, guys, take it easy. Bye-bye.
Peace out.